Hey everybody, welcome to GMG Review. We're back with the Liber Hereticus for saving the best for last, the 20th Legion, the sneakiest Legion. They might be good guys, they might be bad guys. They're the Alpha Legion. This was my personal Horus Heresy army for the first edition of the game way back when. I played tons of game with them, and yeah, they have gotten some interesting upgrades. They're still one of my favorites. I initially chose them as my Legion, and this is a great choice for anybody. If you don't know who you're going to be playing against, they make sense fighting all sides. It doesn't matter who they fight against, it kind of makes sense. The twin Primarchs Alpharius and Omegon, although one may have been killed by Rogel Dorn, are prosecuting a war at the behest of an alien cabal to either extend the fighting forever, or if the Emperor wins, the universe ends immediately. So there's a lot of galactic stuff at stake that the two Primarchs kind of fallen for, and they're fighting for their own agendas and intrigued rather than necessarily fighting for the War Master or the Emperor. They also might be the most frustrating of the armies to fight against, in that they have some crazy special rules. Let's jump right into it. Their Legion Strategies Alpha Legion keyword gives you lies and obfuscation. A model with this special rule is always considered to be 2 inches further away than it actually is when measuring range to it from any enemy model for the purpose of resolving a shooting attack, a charge, or any reaction declared by an enemy model or unit. So you have to be within 10 basically to react to these guys for the most part. That is, yeah, and it's cumulative of special rules like night fighting that would add to that range as well. So you want to find frustrating, wholly frustrating. They get a subtle panoply, which is all of their interesting additional gear, Zabatours as a Centurion upgrade, and Sons of the Hydra for their Warlord Traits. They get an additional rule called the Rewards of Treachery. If you're playing an Alpha Legion detachment, a single unit from your army of the Legion Astartes X special rule can be taken from anyone else's army list. That's right, I could pick and choose like a Grey Slayer squad that just happens to be a bunch of Alpha Legion that infiltrated the Legion and learned how to fight like Space Wolves. I could take a Laeran Terminator squad, no, that's mine. I could take a Justarian Terminator squad from the Sons of Horus that, we just happened to infiltrate that division and learn how to fight like them. It is super sneaky, and it means that if you're playing the Alpha Legion, never you mind, you can pick and choose from any of these books, any unit that you really like the look of. In fact, there's a Rights Award that lets you do it 3 times. When you deploy them into your army, though, they gain the Alpha Legion keyword instead, which means they also get lies and obfuscation, but retain all the other special rules. Be careful, though, because certain rules for certain units will still apply to their parent legion, because it won't say X, it'll say the name of that legion in there. So don't assume that any kind of special rule lets you protect someone with the X rule allows you to protect an Alpha Legion character or something like that. It won't change any keywords that aren't X. If it's a specified keyword, it'll stay the same. And then your advanced reaction, Smoke and Mirrors. This one's also kind of crazy. When you're targeted by a shooting attack, take the unit off the table, place it anywhere within 12, or place a single model within 12, and then scatter them D6. Their final position you set up in coherency, and then the remainder of the shooting attack is declared from where they are at that point. And once they're in that point, I believe they cannot select a different target, and no attacks or made or dice are rolled if they can't be seen. So if you just bamf out a line of sight, then you're just gone. It's an amazing kind of Nightcrawler disappear and reappear trick, and it can be very, very, very frustrating, for your opponent if it puts you behind a wall and you can no longer be seen. All right, Warlord Traits. The Mobius configuration. Talk about cherry picking units. You can only take this if you're a loyalist, because of course you're Alpha Legion. Maybe you're loyal, you never know. An army whose warlord has this trait counts any allied detachment that has any version of the Astartes X special keyword as though it was fellow warriors for its level of alliance, regardless of what the table says. Units from this allied detachment that are removed as casualties do not score victory points for opposing player, regardless of the mission objectives in play. And if all models that were part of the allied detachment have been removed as casualties at the end of the battle, the controlling player gets a victory point. Maybe you're setting them up. For whatever reason, they needed to be there and they probably needed to die. No units in the allied detachment may make reactions of any kind, but the first unit in the primary detachment to make a reaction each turn does not use up a point of the controlling player's reaction allotment when making the reaction. So you basically have a bunch of Ponzi's. You get to use them as a way to gain additional reaction points, and they give you a victory point if they die. Amazing. I love it. It has to be an allied detachment, but they're always going to be fellow warriors, so just take people who hate you, because why not? Oh man, the Alpha Legion. They're the painter's dream. I can paint anything I want, add them to this army. It's going to be fantastic. And then your next one is Master of Lies. An army whose warlord has this trait may, at the start of the battle, once all players are deployed and rolls for seize the initiative have been made, redeploy up to 3 units under your control. They can be deployed anywhere you can that you wish, as long as it's where they can normally be deployed. And they can even be put in reserves, but they can't join a flanking assault, deep strike, or subterranean assault. In addition, you get additional reaction during the movement phase, as long as you're not removed as a casualty. And then Hydran Excursor. You spend some time with the other legions and you learn how they fight. So US Warlord must select one variant of the Legion Astartes X special rule from a different one other than Alpha Legion at the start of the battle and before all other models are deployed. The Warlord in any unit he joins gains +1 to hit against models with that. And in addition, you can make an additional reaction in the shooting phase as long as you haven't been removed as a casualty. So all hit rolls get +1 against the chosen type, and you basically study your opponent and learn the way that they fight. All right, Rites of War. First one, Coils of the Hydra. I love this one. A detachment using this Rite of War may include up to 3 units as selected for rewards of treachery. Each of these units is paid for as normal and use up the normal force organization slot for a unit of that type as per the restrictions and the rewards of treachery special rule. All units selected as part of a detachment using this Rite of War gain the Fearless special rule until at least 1 unit, other friendly units, been deployed from reserves. And all units selected as part of the detachment using this Rite of War gain +1 to all hit rolls for shooting and melee attacks until made during the turn in which they're deployed in the battlefield. So basically, if you were not rewards of treachery and you're put in reserve, the idea here is that you have this like group of like infiltrators from some other legion on the table fighting for you, and no one suspected they were fighting for you. You're going to put at least as many units in reserve from your parent army list, and when they show, and everyone's fearless from like the betrayers until you show up out of reserve, and when you show up out of reserve, you get +1 to hit and shooting in melee. Now your limitations are all units selected as part of that detachment using this Rite of War by means of the rewards of treachery must be deployed in the battlefield. So the traitors, the betrayers, the infiltrators have to start on the table and can't be assigned to a deep strike or a subterranean assault or flanking assault. And a detachment using this Rite of War must include a number of units selected without the use of rewards of treachery equal to or greater than the number of units that you have, and they must be put in reserve or assigned to a deep strike, assault, subterranean assault, or flanking assault. So a really neat like character, like so many times in the Horus Heresy novels, there would be these moments where like the Alpha Legion just reveal themselves out of like the army that they're attacking and start murdering people. It's amazing. It's a cool way of being able to do an army list and just pick and choose units that you like from other armies. Then the Headhunter Leviathan, that one is a detachment using this Rite of War may take Headhunter kill teams as troop choices and fast attack choices. If an army includes a detachment using this Rite of War, then you get +2 VPs if you slay the Warlord. And then during the first game turn, all units composed entirely of models with the infantry unit type and Alpha Legion special rule gain shrouded 5+ while they're at least 5 inches away from the enemy. So like a lighter version of the Raven Guard one. And then limitations, you must begin playing reserves. Everyone does. All models with the vehicle unit subtype must begin playing reserves. And you must include more fast attack choices than heavy support choices, because you're supposed to be like a fast-moving headhunter. All right, your armory. You can take power daggers. Any model with the character subtype and Alpha Legions for 5 points can take a power dagger. It's a power weapon that's strength 3, AP 3, melee, sudden strike 1, and breaching 5+. You get +1 initiative on the charge for it. And then Bane Strike Bolters. So your independent characters who are Alpha Legion can exchange their bolter or combi bolter for a Bane Strike combi bolter for 5 points. Additionally, any models in a Legion Seeker squad that are Alpha Legion can exchange their Kraken bolters for Bane Strike bolters at no point cost. And Legion veterans can take them for 2 points. So Bane Strike bolters are 18-inch range, and all the Seeker squads come with them. They're strength 5, AP 4, rapid fire, and breaching 6+. So an amazing boost to AP 2 potentially. And the combi bolters are twin linked and the same. Then Venom Spheres, all your characters who are Alpha Legion for 10 points can take a Venom Sphere, 8-inch range, strength 1, assault 6, poison 3+, and 1 shot. You throw like a toxin bomb. And your Zabatur is your upgrade for your Centurion for 15 points. He gains Infiltrate, Scout, and False Colors. False Colors means you can never make a shooting attack against him until he fights around in close combat or makes a shooting attack, because he's just wandering around dressed as one of the enemy. His war gear, he gains Melta Bombs, Breacher Charges, Shroud Bombs at no additional point cost, and can take a Nemesis Bolter for 5 points, in addition to all the normal stuff you can take as a consular. But he can't take a Combat Bike, Jet Bike, or Jump Pack. I love my Saboteur. He used to have a really broken rule where he'd pre-planted explosives on something. I'm glad that's gone, because it was the most feel-bad thing in the game to kill someone's tank just automatically before the game started. Oh, Saboteur, you went from a hero to a not quite zero. You're not quite as bad as you used to be. I don't feel bad about it, though. All right, Alpharius, or maybe Omega, on 465 points. He's weapon skill, blitz skill 7, movement 8, 6s across the board, leadership 10, 2+ save. He's got the Pythian Scales. His armor gives him a 2+ armor save and a 4+ invulnerable save. And in addition, hits caused by Fleshbane or poison gain no benefit when rolling to wound and are resolved with their standard strength. If it doesn't have a strength, then it's considered strength 1. The Pale Spear, it's his melee weapon, user strength, so strength 6, AP 1, melee, armor bane, instant death, and two-handed. So a very stabby murder weapon. The Hydra's Spite is his plasma gun, 18-inch range, strength 8, AP 3, assault 2, rending 4+, and master crafted. And then he's got 3 venom spheres he can throw and frag grenades. He is an Alpha Legionnaire, he has Master Legion, he can Adamantium will away a psychic power, he's a Crusader, and he's an Insidious Mastermind. At the start of any turn in which Alpharius' controlling player is the active player, and Alpharius is on the battlefield, including when embarked on a model with the transport subtype or in a building, the controlling player may grant one of the listed special rules to all models with the Alpha Legion special rule, including Alpharius did not have the vehicle unit type. Either Fleet 2, Preferred Enemy Everything, or Sudden Strike 1. It's active until the active player's next turn, and each listed special rule can be selected once per battle. So basically, you don't get these all the time, but once per battle, you can just give everybody these rules. And then he also has Everywhere and Nowhere. At the start of the battle, before any model is deployed, Alpharius may be given any one of the following special rules: Infiltrate, Scout, Deep Strike. Alpharius' controlling player may select up to 3 friendly units to also receive the same special rule granted by Everywhere and Nowhere. So him and 3 units can all have one of those rules. So for 465, he's a bit of a force multiplier, which is kind of amazing. And then he's got Sire of the Alpha Legion. Started the battle after all models from all armies have been deployed, including infiltrators and scouts. Alpharius' controlling player may select 3 friendly models composed entirely of Alpha Legion special role models. Those selected units may be deployed anywhere in the controlling player's deployment zone or placed in reserves. And in addition, an army with your Alpharius as your warlord may declare a single phase at the start of any turn in which Alpharius' controlling player is the reactive player, gaining an additional reaction as long as he's alive. So you can pick an additional reaction any phase you want each turn, basically, when he's alive. Not the killiest, but I think as far as like Primarchs who augment their own guys go, he's amazing. Like, he really buffs the people around him, and he's still a Primarch, so he's still super killy. Like, that Pale Sphere is going to kill any character he goes and fights. All right, your special Terminators, Lairn and Terminator squads. You get 4 Lairns and a Harrower. They got Volkite Chargers and Power Axes and Cataphractii armor, and the Harrower has a Venom Sphere. You could, if you got some Power Axe bits, make these probably out of... you need to get Volkite Chargers. You can maybe convert them out of the special weapon box. You could probably make these out of plastic is what I'm saying, but there are Forge World ones you can make too. They are standard Terminator stat lines other than that, but they have It Will Not Die 5+ and Stubborn, and then Hydran Exemplars. The controlling player of a unit composed entirely of models of the special rule must select a variant of Legion Astartes X, and all models in this unit gain +1 to hit that type of Legion Astartes. You can take a Dreadclaw, a Proteus, or a Landraider Spartan as your transports. You know, 5 extra guys for 45 points, and for every 5 models, you can take a Heavy Flamer, Conversion Beamer, Plasma Blaster, Volkite Culverin, and you can exchange your Power Axes for Power Fists and Chain Fists, which means as long as you can find the Volkite Chargers, you can basically make this out of a plastic box of Terminators if you want. Then your Headhunter Kill Team, it's kind of your special Seeker Squad. It's fast attack choice. 4 Hunters and a Prime. They are Infantry Skirmish, so 3-inch deployments. Oh, and the Lairmans, by the way, are line, so they count as scoring, which is nice. I should have mentioned that. They come with Bane Strike Bolters and Power Daggers, so they're pretty versatile. Ballistic Skill 5 as well. A Bolt Pistol, they have a Prime, has a Venom Sphere, Frag and Crack, and Power Armor. They can take a Transport of a Rhino or a Dreadclaw, and does need up a slot. 20 extra points for each additional guy, up to 5, and any model can exchange their Bane Strike for a combi weapon. One model can have a Heavy Bolter or a Multi-Melta, and then the Prime can have a Plasma Pistol or Inferno Pistol, Power Weapon or Power Fist, Artificer or Melta Bombs. They get Precision Shot 4+, Preferred Enemy Independent Characters, Infiltrate and Scout, because they're there to try and assassinate the bad guys. And with Precision Shots and Bane Strike Bolters, they're pretty good at doing it too out of squads. Then our last two characters, we got Exodus. He's the assassin, the one who is many. So his lone killer rule, he can never be a compulsory HQ choice, only a non-compulsory one, and he can only ever join recon teams or headhunter kill teams. He's got a bolt pistol, power dagger, the instrument, which is his gun. It can either rapid shot or execution shot. Rapid shot, it's strength 7, AP 2, assault 3, sunder and pinning, so good at killing light vehicles. And then execution shot, 7 AP 1, heavy 1, sniper, sunder, pinning, and deadly aim. If Exodus has not moved during the shooting phase and uses this profile, he gets the brutal 2 special rule. If the attack's given brutal 2, then no charges may be declared for Exodus during that turn, so he has to like aim. Then he's got power armor, refractor field, a venom sphere, melta bombs, frag, crack, and shroud bombs. Special rules, he is independent, relentless, pathfinder, move through cover, the shrouded 5+, lone killer, which is his can't join something in the hidden hand, and assassin's eye. When deploying Exodus in the battlefield at the start of the battle, the controlling player may place him in any position in the battlefield as long as Exodus is in area terrain, or at least 9 from the enemy, regardless of long sight or proximity. If Exodus is deployed not within area terrain, or is in reserve at the start of the first turn, they can enter play from any point in the battlefield's edge chosen by the controlling player. If Exodus joins a unit during deployment or in reserves, he may not use this benefit, but instead gain Scout and Infiltrate. Assassin's Eye, when Exodus makes a shooting attack, the range of any weapon is not restricted or affected by the Night Fight rules, Shroud Bombs, or any other special rule. In addition, he never suffers penalties to his ballistic skill from night fighting or any other special rule, and always makes to hit rolls at his full ballistic skill. And no model can make shrouded rolls to negate wounds by his attacks. Holy crap. And then we got Armilius Dyna. He's your big Praetor. I love him. 185 points. The Grief Bringer. He's griefing everybody. Weapon skill 6, blow skill 5, strength toughness 4, 3 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 10 and 2+ save. Bolt pistol, the Prince and the Prophet are his 2 weapons, a power sword and Thunderhammer and Storm Shield. He basically has a special rule called Weapon Master. When he attacks during the assault phase, he can split his attacks between these 2 weapons. He can't normally do that. And he declares which ones he'll use and just use them in separate initiative brackets. The Prince is user strength AP 3, melee and rending 6+, standard power sword. The Prophet's a Thunderhammer, strength 9 AP 2, melee, unwieldy, and Thunderstrike. If any enemy model that does not have the vehicle unit type suffers 1 or more hits from the Prince, then Armilius Dyna may make 1 attack with the Prophet in addition to any other attacks he can make in initiative step 1. So if he hits with the power sword, he gets a bonus attack with the Prophet on top of that, even if he's splitting them. Then he's got a Venom Sphere, Phosphex Bomb, Artificer Armor, Iron Halo, Frag, and Crack. He's Master Legion, independent character, relentless, precision strikes 4+, and of course he's got his Weapon Master over here. And then the Harrowing. At the start of the battle, before any models are deployed by either player, the controlling player of an army whose warlord is Armilius Dyna may choose to select 3 friendly units composed entirely of models with the Alpha Legion special rule and the infantry unit type, and give them all one of the following rules: Infiltrate, Scout, or Counterattack 1. In addition, if he's your warlord, then you get an additional reaction to the opposing player's movement phase as long as you're not removed as a casualty. So you get to augment your guys. Once again, really interesting how all the leaders here, except for Exodus, obviously he's a sniper, tend to augment the people around him. And he's pretty versatile. He's also relatively cheap for 185 points for like a big special character. He's not that fighty or tough, but he's good at stuff, and he likes to augment the people around him, which I like for a Alpha Legion army. Now the color scheme here, I did mine in like I blended turquoise through like green for mine, but this is done in metallics. You can see here, sort of a metallic like powdered blue-green, beautifully painted, and actually probably super easy to do now. You can see here in the color section, you could probably, there's tons of like airbrush paints you can get like this, but you could probably get away with contrast paint with a turquoise, a thin down Pterodon turquoise maybe, over top of the whatchamacallit, the standard like lead belcher spray. Like a metallic silver spray and then a bit of contrast paint, you can get most of this effect from. Maybe thin it down a little bit. But if you're doing big surfaces like this, maybe not as good. Definitely on the Marines though, you can get away with it. I'm not sure how great it would look on the larger surfaces because it blotches a little bit, but if you did it through an airbrush, it'd probably look just fine. And that's it. Dyna, we got our Leernans, a Praetor and Cataphracti armor, nice Tartarus guy, another Praetor over here. Lots of cool, and there's a Headhunter. Lots of cool models from Forge World, and of course Alpharius Omegon. One of the only models I don't have. I have Dyna. I should get Alpharius. I have a Zabatur as well that I made too. And I should paint up at least a couple of my Corvus models in the Alpha Legion colors, because they do look great as Alpha Legion. So there it is, the final installment of Liber Hereticus. I hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you for more reviews in the future. Don't want to mash. Have a good one. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that video. There are tons of other games already recorded for you to watch. Click over to my channel page if you haven't already, and have a look through the dozens of playlists full of videos. I guarantee you'll discover a game you haven't seen played before. I put out new videos 7 days a week, and every day is themed to a different genre as I continue to explore the wider world of gaming. Of course, none of that's possible without you, the viewer, so click a like and subscribe if you'd like to stay on top of what's happening here daily. My 2 kids and I are massively grateful to be able to have the flexibility of this job so I can always maximize my time with them. If you want to support me continuing to put out this content, it's only possible because of my amazing backers on Patreon who support the studio, equipment, and model cost, as well as being how I make the bulk of my living. You can also help out by buying a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, a measuring gauge or widget from Death Ray Designs, or buying one of my games and supplements like Last Days, Gamma Wolves, and Blaster. As a way of showing my appreciation, patrons get early access to new games and supplements that I write throughout the course of the year. Huge thanks for watching, it really does help out, and happy gaming.